Hi, Nina's Polly here. This is a place to talk about spiritual personality typing. This week on the blog, I'm talking about something that I think affects every traveler on the planet. So I'm going to start with asking a question. Why are you taking a vacation? Ask yourself that question. What are the intentions behind your vacation? I mean, we're all really good at having goals for our job, goals for our family, goals for this, or even spiritual practices for all these things. And yet, one of the most important things we can do for ourselves is take a vacation. And it doesn't have to be to a far-flung destination. It could be to your own backyard. But what's your intention? What's the intention behind the vacation? And how are you nurturing and nourishing yourself while you're away? Most people, we take vacations, to nourish ourselves, to get more creative, to reconnect, for better mental health. Most of us do that, but what's our intention behind it? And if we don't focus our intentions on those things, how does it really all play out, right? So I'm going to be looking back at what I wrote up here. So how do you do this? Like, how do you nurture and nourish yourself on vacation? And like I said, do you have an intention to do this? Right? I mean, so many of us, the stress levels for vacation are high right now because there's so many unknowns. And if you missed last week's blog or last week's video, go back and look at that, because I did stress relief tips for each personality type. But let's just get back to that. So we as travelers, we invite a lot of negative self-talk. Oh gosh, did I plan the right place? Did I make the right decisions for my family? Oh my God, is the plane gonna land on time? La la la. All this negative banter comes in, and we just take that all in. Okay, and this is how just we're starting out our vacation. So there's all this negative energy because negative self-talk emits negative energy, and then you just attract more into that. You attract more and more into you, and it emanates to all that you're surrounded with. So it's a wonder that your kids are like, "Oh man, you're such a drag." Well, they're feeling your energy, Or the kid's doing it and you're feeling the kid's energy, or your partner, vice versa. It's not only you, but I'm just saying this is how it kind of builds, right? So we have to start looking at things differently. I want you to see a better way to take a vacation. So I kind of want us to start stepping back of so many things that we've been taught through the media. I know I used to do it. I did it for almost 18 years. I travel public relations. It was a great job, believe me. This is better. So anyway, what we do is we follow the trends. Best places to stay. 10 hours in this destination, or 24 hours in Vero Beach, wherever it is, right? And so they're like, okay, do this, which is fine. I know I wrote a lot of this stuff up, and it got picked up by a hell of a lot of papers and magazines. But the thing is, we're so focused on all this external doing and being that we're not nurturing ourselves. And isn't that the reason we go on vacation? To nurture our body, mind, and soul? To make space for more creative energy? To make space for new ideas and new perspectives and new cultures? Isn't that a better way to travel? Instead of like pounding all this stuff in, And it's a little bit more than just slow travel. It is about slowing down, definitely. There's no doubt. But you can go to a spa and meditate and be in slow travel the whole time, which is not a bad thing. But again, it's an external process that you're stepping into, right? You're being instructed by an external process, So what I suggest is you start looking at things differently. You just start looking at travel differently. You travel from the inside out, not the outside in. And I know that sounds probably a little bit crazy, but it's not. You set your intentions and you start feeling into your body what feels good, what feels right. And if you're a planner, plan away. If you're spontaneous, be spontaneous. But still, you have the capacity to feel in your body what's right instead of like going at this crazy frantic pace or being so influenced by all the external things beside you and around you. You don't have to jump from one thing to one thing. I mean, that's, and I'm an extrovert. I'm a doer, not like a doer. That's an ESTP. They're doers. They are total doers. But there's a different way to look at travel. I want it to be more nurturing and nourishing, and not just an expansion of all this more external stuff. I want you to travel from the inside out, right? So I wrote up, and this week on the blog, I wrote up for every personality type, I wrote up how to acknowledge more joy while away. So for each type, there's like 3 little points. It helps you bring more joy, helps you nurture yourself, right? The cool thing about all this is when you start looking at this. So we want to stop. You want to stop and start noticing things, right? And I touched on one of them. One of the things you have to really notice is your negative self-talk. Don't doubt yourself. If you've made the plans, you made the plans. You're done. Let it go. It's already behind you. And what's behind you doesn't serve you now. What are you doing? Looking back, you're going to fall. So the plans are made. If they're not the best plans, make the most of it. Or change something. Be flexible. Right? But don't sit there and negative self-talk yourself to death, and then you come home and you're like, God, that was exhausting. Yeah, because you exhausted your own self. You just attracted all that negative energy into you. And if you did make a wrong plan and you're stressing about it, have some gratitude that you can even have the money to travel. Take the time to travel, to take your kids to travel. Be grateful that you can do that. A lot of people can't. Have you ever thought about that? A lot of people can't. A lot of people can't. And there's other ways to be grateful. When you're feeling all that self-talk, like, go sit somewhere. Go sit on a park bench and get quiet and observe all the diversity around you. And just think about what you can learn from all the differences that each person can share with you. The different cultures, the different beliefs, the different values. No, you're not going to agree with all of them. But isn't it eye-opening to see that people live differently than you? They have different ways of going about stuff. Like in Italy, you're not going to see people walk around with coffee cups like you do in America. They don't do that. They sit and they're into the face-to-face thing. They do that in France a lot too. So different. It's just a different culture. I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong, but it's different. And maybe when you start awakening to that, you let go of that negative energy, you create more room in yourself, you create more space. And maybe you bring that home with you. I'm no longer going to sit there and do that anymore. I'm going to invite some friends and we're going to go meet up for coffee, and I'm going to do it that way. That might not work for everybody, and you might not do it every day. But wouldn't that be a great gift to bring back for yourself and for your friends instead of some tchotchke? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to have you rethink things. Rethink how you're looking at travel. Just start rethinking things. What's your intention? Is your intention to get closer to your kids or your spouse? Okay, set that intention. what steps are you going to take to make that happen? You just can't keep on doing what you're doing now, because that's the same stuff. That's like being backwards. That's still in the backwards mode. What have you done new, fresh, a fresh perspective that you can take forward and maybe introduce little small steps that brings you closer to your children or your spouse, or even more important, to yourself? What steps, what's the intention? Think about that. You know, we're all just so trained to get onto, get on Google or Yahoo or, DuckDuckGo and go, let's just search. Well, why don't you search yourself first? Why don't you do that first? Why don't you travel from the inside out? Search you first. Get real clear. Gain a lot of clarity on why you want to travel and what do you want to get out of it. Get clear on that. It's really important. I'm telling you, setting this new intention will make your travel experiences so much more joyful. You'll come home so much more happier because you've traveled from the inside out. You're not consistently searching and wanting and being and doing. That's exhausting, and it's never ending, and it's never going to fulfill you. I was in the travel industry. I talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of travelers that were staying in posh villas that were like $25,000 a night. They had an on-call chef. They had an in-house masseuse. They had everything at their disposal, and they were still not happy. They're still not happy. They had infinity pools. Still not happy. I'm like, okay, I'm not quite getting why you're unhappy, because they were not fulfilled inwardly. They were still searching externally for something to fulfill them. And we all know this doesn't work. So I'm not telling you anything you've not heard before, but I think when you travel, you're more open-minded, and things you're like, oh, I can take 5 minutes and sit on a park bench and really appreciate the diversity, And if you're not a people person, look at the diversity in the plants or the animals that you're seeing, or the food, or the clothes, or whatever ignites you. Do that, right? So it's kind of like a redirection of your consciousness. Okay, let me explain that. So if you're getting into that, negative space, like you're on a plane, you're like, oh my God, that person's not wearing a mask, or that person's wearing a mask, or that kid's driving me crazy, or it's so hot, it's packed, plane's late. Well, okay, this is a lot of negative self-talk, right? So instead of that, when you redirect your consciousness, you can start redirecting it. You're doing it. You catch yourself because now you're aware, because you've set the attention to be aware of these things, the little things that derail your vacation. So you've set this intention. You're like, oh my God, I'm negative self-talking. How can I turn this around? How can I be grateful? How can I be grateful for all of this? Oh my God, I don't have to drive, 25 hours to get to where I'm going. Or, oh my God, I can't believe the miracle this plane's going to just take me right over the ocean and plop my ass down in Paris. Oh my God. Like, that's pretty crazy cool when you think about it. Right? And if you're looking at somebody like who's wearing a mask, who's not wearing a mask, all that, that's separation. And that's none of your business. And that's their business. Whether, I don't want to go down that road, but that's a thing that you need to be more concerned about, your inner self. And whatever way it is, if it makes you feel comfortable, move somewhere else. Go away from it. You have control over that instead of negative self-talking or even commenting out loud. You have no right to comment to other people unless it's encouraging. If you have kind words and you're encouraging, great. Maybe you do help a mom that's struggling. She's got all these kids and she dropped her little bear and she's running to go get it. Maybe you pick it up and go get it for her. Wouldn't that be nice? She'll remember that for her whole life. Your act of kindness. Maybe your intention is to show random acts of kindness, or smile more to people that you meet, even though they are a different culture, or even though they say something to you that's just like totally not in your belief system or cultural values. You still smile because you know what? That's what they believe. And we're not judge and jury. But those kind of stuff stress people out too. I know, it stressed me out. But I've learned just to be more accepting. So it's interesting how if you can self-direct that consciousness into something more positive, right? If you can go into that positive route, I mean, it makes a big difference. There's one more thing I wanted to say, guys. I'm trying to get this done before it starts raining. Yeah. And another thing is too, and we all do this, I'm guilty. So guilty. You know, we're so addicted to our phones. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and then I just heard this, one of the people that I follow, Megan Rose, she's really cool, on YouTube. But we were talking about, I said, you need to start writing your experiences down because, you know, your experiences and what you're going through, and she's going through something pretty damn traumatic. And she is just facing it head on. She's facing her fears. So I said, you know, you need to write this stuff down. And I said, I'd prefer it if you'd use a pen and paper. And she's so organized, right? She's like, well, no, I use my thing and I go to my Google Docs. I said, I get that. But there's a point to this. And she goes, I like being on the computer. I'm like, yeah, we all do. And she's real organized, so it makes sense. But I said, you know, when you're on your computer or you're on your phone, it emanates an energy. And it interferes with our electromagnetic energy. Did you know that? It does. So when you're on vacation and you're scrolling or you're constantly taking, you know, selfies or whatever you're doing, right? That's interfering with your electromagnetic energy. And if you're sensitive like me, and that starts making that energy around you start to wobble, you'll start picking up everybody else's stuff. And that's tough. That gets very difficult. So the practice I've been using for my phone, because I love to take pictures. I love it. I like being on my phone taking pictures. Is that I just set certain times for that, you know? And I'm trying not to. I'm not perfect. But I'm trying to only take out my phone in specific time periods. Like, okay, it can be out for an hour now, and then that's it. And put it away. Turn it off, put it away. And just enjoy it. Just really be in the moment. Really be in the moment. You know? And if I could suggest an intention for you for travel, that would be the one. Right? Be in the moment. That's the most nurturing thing you can do. Because when you do that, when you set that intention, you're more intuitively aware too, which is really important on vacation. Because when you become more intuitively aware, you're led to different things for your personality type. Like my personality type, I'm out. Like everyone's turning left, I'm turning right. I'm in somebody's house, like sipping, you know, cocoa tea. Or I'm in the back of the store talking to the owners about their store that's been there for 200 years. She shows me the little bench where they actually make the leather. They pound it, sew it. I've been so blessed to have those experiences. That's my personality type. That's what excites me. I'm inquisitive as hell. So I want those authentic experiences because it feeds my soul. Because then I gotta get into lively discussions with people. I will challenge somebody's belief. I'm that person. I try to do it as nicely as I can. Some people think that, oh gosh, she's such a bitch, she's arguing. I'm really not arguing to argue, I'm arguing to learn. So I like to call my talks lively discussions. Don't you like the way I've kind of spun that? Hey, I'm in PR, right? But I like to use lively discussions to learn more about people. Your personality is different. But if your intuition's not open, if you're constantly on your phone, shutting down your own energy, shutting down your own electromagnetic field, right? You're not opening. You're not, that divine spark within you is not open. It's shutting down. So you want to keep that open as much as possible when you travel. You want to be in that moment, and being in the moment and not being focused on anything else, just being in that moment and taking everything in, taking your whole surroundings in, and really appreciating that moment in time. You're never going to get it back. Where you are and what the people around you look like. What are the smells? What are the tastes? What do the trees look like? What do the buildings look like? And just contemplate that. Just be in that moment. Because when you're in that moment too, you're more open to divine intelligence and those intuitive messages that come to you. Because then, especially if you're a more of a P personality type, you're more open to that flexibility and that spontaneous, let's next thing. And even if you're a planner, your intuition will guide you as well in a different way. Because the messages you get from divine intelligence are specifically focused for you. The messages I get are specifically focused for me. They're my soul's intentions. It's my soul speaking to me, just like your soul's going to speak to you. So can you see how different a vacation experience can be if you travel with intention? If you travel with the thought that, wow, I really want to nurture myself for happier vacations, because you will be happier if you travel in this way. I know, I'm doing it. I did it the other way. I'm doing it this way now. Oh my God. I just give you an example. I was in Sarasota with a friend of mine, and we were like we did this it's become more natural because I've been working on this for a while now. So we're like, okay, let's go here. Oh yeah, let's go check this place out. Now we both a little bit, and she's a J type, but her J is a lot more flexible because of other assets within her personality type. Anyway, the point of the matter is, with this really nice lady, she took our pictures. We met these other really cool people. They were from like France, and they were telling us all these cool places to go. If you're ever there, come see us. We're like, yeah, baby, it was just so nice to meet so many people. And we're so bombarded by the media that like, everything's horrible. People are horrible. It's not true. It's not true. When you open yourself up and you're in the moment and you're smiling at people and you're recognizing them and you're really seeing them, they respond. And it's just a totally different vacation experience. They're responding to you differently because you're responding differently. You're not outside trying to grab it all. You're not doing that. You're more peacefully and lovingly coming from the inside out. Sharing a smile. Having gratitude. You're putting the negative talk down. You're redirecting your consciousness. It's really important. It's really important. I hope you enjoy this. I know Memorial Day is coming up, so I thought this would be a timely blog. And like I said, I've listed all the 16 personality types, and I've given you little tips to enjoy. Oh, here comes the rain, so I'm gonna stop on that. But go visit the blog, do share, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon, because I'm going to take the weekend off. I got to go because my computer's getting wet. All for now, guys. Enjoy your travels. Remember, travel from the inside out. Travel with intention. You'll take happier vacations. All for now. Travel safe, okay? Let me know where you travel. I can't wait. I got to go. It's raining. Bye.